Live from the basement car park at Area 51 and broadcast worldwide in association with leading radio stations via the internet. It's the Elegant Universe. Your hosts abducted from Melbourne, Australia. Here's Peter Gagliardi and Shane Hill. The Elegant Universe, doing for spiritual awareness what the Dalai Lama does for aquadiving. Welcome back to another edition with Susie.
Good afternoon. Hello. How's everyone? Today I'm bringing you the hormone guide of women and how to talk to us, you boys.
Cool.
You boys.
About
Also, I'm going to see whether or not you have Buckley's chance and also introduce you to some phobias.
Excellent. Good
Cool.
stuff. Haley, you've got horoscopes and...
I do, and also zombie cats and a whale tornado.
That's what we need. That is exactly what I've been talking about.
Yep.
Zombie cats.
Yep.
And, of course, your host with the most, Peter.
Yes, welcome to the show, everyone.
And also today we've got our regular guest, Frankie's back with a brand new conspiracy theory, and I will warn you ahead of time, today's conspiracy theory could get a little bit heavy. And our special guest on the show,
Luka Muller.
one of Melbourne's best and most popular up-and-coming comics, is on the show. He'll be sharing all about himself, his comedy, and everything else on the show. We'll be back after this.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Peter, you've got some news for
Why
us.
has your donkey got butter? I don't understand why the... Anyway.
Yeah, it is from your donkey's bottom.
This is from the Are You Insane file.
Our biggest file.
A owl has been recently taken into custody.
Rubbish.
This is a true story. Police have taken an owl into custody after the bird was found drunk and sitting by the side of the road abusing
Flying
the traffic.
under the influence.
I mean, observing the traffic. Observing.
A crunched wing flapping.
a thing or two about myself.
I could have been great.
I could have been a
The German police said that the paralytic owl appeared to have drunk too much snaps. Right, where did it get snaps from? I don't know.
Yeah, how do they know that it was
Starlog
drinking
13.
snaps anyway?
From 2 discarded bottles. So it found it went, you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to get smashed.
I reckon there's some deer buying the schnapps for the owl.
Yeah, like
Underage.
a Far Side cartoon. They're sneaking in with it. One's got false ID.
Well, get this. It's like the overnight with drunk people. The brown owl did not appear to be injured and is expected to be released once it sobers up.
Mr. H. Potter would like to pick up the owl.
This is true.
This is a true
This is
story.
absolutely 100%
A woman
true.
walking her dog alerted the police after seeing the bird sitting by the road,
Hey,
oblivious
baby.
to passing traffic. Yeah.
No, I meant the dog, woman. Get out of the way.
Yeah, after a 30-second talk with her dog. Yeah. Do you think we should? No, I didn't. Nine.
Yeah, well, they took it to a local bird expert who treated the bird for alcoholism before it was given a lot of water.
Okay,
So it had to go to AA before
No, this
it could...
goes in the archives, mate. This is brilliant.
Well, I
A
can
pissed owl gets arrested.
I can see next week Peacocks on Smack.
Squirrels gone wild beyond the line. Volume 12.
This squirrel's had half a pound of cocaine. What's it
What
look
was
doing
that
with its
thing
nut?
Welcome back to the Elegant Universe, the only show where things that go bump in the night actually get invited into the studio. Speaking of things that go bump in the night, let's have a horoscope.
I'm an aquarium, a Sometimes I need my solitude, but it's mostly just a passing mood.
Okay, so Aquarius. This week, you will do your child's first grade maths test and fail. You get called to the principal's office.
Okay, so we've got 2 Australians about to face the shooting
Death penalty.
So I don't.
And what are their names?
I can't. I don't know. I didn't write them down.
Right, okay. Because I read their names and they didn't.
They're part of the Barley Nine, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right, go on. Yeah.
And so I've been looking up on crimes and why people go to jail and all of that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But here's some reasons for crime that are a bit to laugh at. So a Utah man shot his girlfriend, okay, because he was experiencing crippling headaches that he believed she was giving him.
She was a
Wow.
witch.
I get really bad migraines sometimes. Maybe I should try that.
Ooh, yeah.
So this is what he said. This is a quote.
Okay.
This is his defence in the court.
Yeah, this is what they've said. His head began to hurt, whereupon he believed the only way to ease the pain was to shoot her.
Well, I'm not a crook.
He believed that by shooting her, she would die and the pain in his head would cease.
Wow.
Well, I would have gone trepanning first.
Yeah.
Trepanning? What's that?
Trepanning is where they drill a hole in your head
Oh.
to let the evil
blood
spirits out.
Yeah.
Or the blood, yeah. Ancient practice.
You know, I probably just would have taken some painkillers.
Or that.
Yes,
Yeah. I
yes.
mean, why get
Perhaps.
extreme?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I mean, we all have other options.
And here's what I've got to ask. Did the headache go away after he shot the girl?
Just got worse because she survived and now he's facing.
She's double hexed him.
So yeah, if she actually is, she probably is a witch. If she's survived that, and now it's worse.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
What more evidence do you need, Your
Exactly.
Honour? Case dismissed.
So he's awaiting trial. Then there's this lady, Ashley Hunter from Orlando. Actually, Ashley and Orlando, they were prison buddies initially.
Right.
Okay. And they had come out of prison and they went to a bar, as you
do.
Yeah.
Go
First
to a
place,
bar,
yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And they brought home a girl from the bar. Now,
Right.
everything was fine, and Orlando and the girl were getting
I've
it
seen
on
this movie.
the lounge.
Yep.
You've seen this movie. We're getting it on the lounge,
Yep.
and Ashley wanted in.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, the three of them all start going for it until Orlando rings a bell and says, switch. Ashley didn't want to switch. So then Orlando pulled out a kitchen knife from the lounge, because that's where you keep your kitchen knives.
Yep.
Yeah.
And started stabbing Ashley, the other guy, his
So
friend.
he didn't cut the girl in half so they could, he
Oh,
he
my
removed
God.
the other guy from
He
the
wasn't-
equation.
Jane, you've been on the wrong side of the internet again, haven't you?
He wasn't thinking clearly. But, because they could have shared then.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I'm as bad as you, Shane. But yeah, so then
Did you hear Haley's nervous laugh? I'm in a room with psychopaths.
I'm sitting between them here.
Yeah.
You're safe on the other side of the desk. But
Yeah, just smile and nod.
yeah.
they're both facing jail again for assaulting each other. They're both facing jail.
Okay, yeah.
That's
People make
crazy.
perfect
That's
sense sometimes.
really good. When we get back, pretty soon we're going to have Frankie and also our special guest.
Is Luka Muller.
Yep.
We'll be back after this.
Righty ho, everyone. This is the Mr. Obvious Show. I'm your host, Mr. Obvious. As always, I'm here to help you, the listener, with your problems, big or small. Let's go right to the old telephones. Hello, Mr. Obvious.
Is this Mr. Obvious?
Speaking.
Hi, Mr. Obvious. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Uh-huh.
Let me just start by saying I really love your show, Mr. Obvious.
Well, that's just grand, and thank you for calling, sir.
Yes, I've got another news article, and this one is a cat has been ordered to court for jury duty.
Hey!
It just keeps coming tonight, doesn't
Put your
it?
left paw on the Bible.
Yeah. A pet cat has been ordered to report for jury duty despite being unable to speak and understand English.
Really?
Wow.
How do you find the defendant?
And I bet it's going to sleep through the court case as well.
If the matter was not resolved, Sal the cat would have reported to Supreme Crown Court in Boston, United States, in March 23rd, and would have been sentenced to jail.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you imagine putting a cat in a jail cell?
Yeah.
He'll just walk straight through the bars.
Imagine him walking off the bus and be like, "Hey, you finally got some pussy."
A cat in a jail cell. I reckon it's more fun putting a cat in a blender.
It reminds me of bagpipes. Yeah, bagpipes sound like a...
Yeah.
Sorry, Pete. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, so this cat had to go to jury duty.
Welcome back to the sleepy afternoon edition
Of the Elegant Universe! Hooray!
Yes.
If anyone else did that, we'd be scared we were giving Shane a heart attack.
Yes. It is great to have you back again for a Friday afternoon. Looking forward to you joining us. We have some great stuff.
Before we get into it, though,
Yes.
I've got a little bit of a thing that I need to talk about. I was talking to Shane before the show about a little bit of a problem I stumbled upon this week.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, get this. I'm going to put this problem forward, and I want to know what everyone thinks about it, because I think it made me so angry.
Okay.
that
Yeah,
I couldn't even get my head around it, right? A friend of mine, he's got fines, right?
Yep.
And he's paying off his fines. He's been paying off his fines for like 1,000,000 years, it feels like.
And how
Are we
much
talking
are these?
speeding fines or?
I think they're fines he got from like being on the train without a ticket
Oh,
or
right.
something like
Yeah,
that.
okay,
But
And they've added up roughly over the years to how much?
I don't know, like $5,000 or
Right,
something like
okay.
that. But that's a lot of money
Oh.
worth
Yeah.
of fine. Yeah.
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 Yeah, exactly.
I stress over one fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But they get bigger and bigger if you don't pay them off.
Exactly.
A
Yeah.
fine can end up being 1,000
Well,
if you
there's
don't pay it.
mitigating circumstances with this guy, but Pete, go on.
Anyway, my
There's
friend,
more.
the reason why there's so much is because he actually forgot that he got them, and then, like Haley said, they accumulated and
Yeah.
bang. Anyway, there's another guy that I heard of who just went to court,
Yep.
right? Bit of a addict of sorts.
Okay.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
maybe likes to go to
How
his
do you be
freezer and have ice with his drinks. You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
won't get into the specific drug,
He
but
lives his life on the rocks.
yeah, on the rocks, and if you had a drink, you'd obviously have it with ice.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so we all know what I'm talking about.
Anyway,
We
so,
get it by now. Yeah.
so
Could've
he
been clearer.
goes to court.
This guy goes to
This
court.
sounds like a joke. So this guy walks into court. And
Well, this is sort of like a joke.
gosh,
He goes to
okay.
court. He walks in there, and he tells his lawyer, "Oh, I'm a bit of an addict and all this sort of thing." And the lawyer goes, "Okay, well, we'll sympathise with you." Tells the judge. Now, mind you, the guy who's the addict has over $30,000 in fines.
Wow.
So we're not talking $5,000 like my other friend. $30,000 in fines, right? Goes into court, and the judge goes, "Oh, well, you're an addict, so we're going to go easy on you."
Yeah.
Wipe away
What?
$15,000 in fines. Wiped it.
Wow.
So he only has to pay $20,000, but he only has to pay $100 a month. Oh, can you manage that? Yeah, that's fine. And my logic was, okay, so if they wipe this guy's 15, why couldn't they wipe my other friend's 5?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if you're
why-
going to give leniency, if you're going to reward addicts,
Yeah.
then shouldn't you reward everyone?
But they do because it's their idea of trying to get them on the right path. But it doesn't work. It
It's
doesn't
not going
work.
to
That's
work.
ridiculous.
It's not going to happen.
How's that going to get them on the right path? It's going to
Exactly.
enable them to buy more.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think there are other issues that are coming up.
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
next few
enraged
weeks.
by that, by the way.
Yeah, I do not blame you at all because I know both these people.
Yeah.
Both your
yeah,
friends.
you do actually.
And yeah, I'm outraged, but I'm also outraged by a bunch of other stuff that will be coming up in future shows. Stand by for that. But speaking of the future, let's have a horoscope.
Rushing for the papers every day to find out what the stars have got to say about the fortunes that are on the way. It's crazy, crazy. Working on waiting.
Okay, so Pisces. This week you will still be waiting for someone to save you after you fell off that cliff last week. The good news is that your raw flesh is attracting many bugs for you to eat. The bad news is that the vultures are looming.
Oh, that's...
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
That's accommodating.
I take what I said about the future back. That's the present. Okay, you've also got news.
I do have news. Okay, 2 of my favourite things.
Yeah.
Cats.
Yeah.
Little kitty cats.
And Ben and Jerry ice cream.
Oh, no. Oh, that'd be
Three.
amazing.
Three of my favourite things.
Unfortunately, Ben & Jerry's ice cream is not in this story, but we do have zombies.
Oh.
Yeah,
zombies.
cool. Okay, so I have the story of Bart the cat from Florida.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just last week, Bart the cat, who is only 23 months old, was hit by a car.
Yep. Poor
His
cat.
owner found him on the side of the road, saw him there dead, and so buried him there at the side of the road.
Yep.
Right.
5 days later, Bart turned up next door.
Yep.
Pet Cemetery. Seen this movie too.
He had been buried. It's not a movie. This is real life. Real life, Shane.
Yeah, but there's a movie where that happens as
Wow.
well. Anyway, go on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And so this cat's turned up next door. The neighbors brought it over in its arms, like, I've got your cat. And they're like, that's impossible. Bart's dead. We buried him. Like, this is in quotes. It's seriously like a script.
I know what's happened.
I know.
I know what's happened.
And
Go on.
he's missing an eye. His
He
jaw's broken.
He truly looks like a zombie, this cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow,
Yeah.
he
Like,
managed to
That's not what happened.
dig himself up. What do you think happened?
I think the next door neighbours have got a really good sense of humour. They've gone out and found a cat exactly like Bart,
Broken
punched
his
the crap out
jaw.
of it, pulled its eye out. We found your cat.
That's
Yeah.
not a good sense of humour.
That's
That'd be hilarious.
Hilarious. Wow.
You know,
Today's
it's
quite
like
the
you know
show.
the next door neighbour's dog has died, so you go find one exactly the same and you just shuffle it in. You're doing a kind thing.
Yeah,
They
except for
think their dog's dead and, miraculously their dog's alive.
Except for the breaking the jaw and taking out the eye.
Yeah,
and
no, this cat
Yeah.
does look like a zombie.
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously. But the good news is that he was taken to the vet and they expect a full recovery.
From
So-
zombieism?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from
Wow.
zombieism.
What I think happened was the cat got hit and probably in a coma,
Yeah,
and then
obviously,
he's
yeah.
woken up like Kill Bill
Yeah.
in a little coffin, and he
Yeah.
remembers
Dug in.
his kung fu training.
Yeah, just dug
And
his
he
way
does
out.
his cat's paw technique, and he gets out and he's like, revenge! But he never finds the car, so he can't avenge his master. Great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great movie. Yeah.
But how freaked out would you be as a cat
Yeah.
waking up in a whole heap of pain with only one eye and everything's all black because you're under the ground? And
In a
how do you
shallow
figure out?
grave.
Yeah.
How do you figure out like which way to dig? And I'm just amazed by
I
this
think the
cat.
thing that saved it was actually a very, very shallow grave.
It must have been.
Probably.
They didn't. Well, that's what
Yeah.
that's what they said. Like they dug a hole. It wasn't even real. His head was probably sticking out. To tell you the truth.
Had like
But-
breathing holes or something.
Yeah.
After a little bell.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy
Yeah.
zombies.
Okay, so I've got some phobias.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring.
Anyone
Yeah.
in this room have a phobia?
I
Yes.
used to have.
What was your phobia?
I had a phobia of spiders.
Okay.
I have a phobia of spiders.
Okay, the first
And
thing
perhaps also a phobia of Shane, but I won't say that out loud.
Okay. When I first started studying neurolinguistics to experiment on whether or not the techniques worked,
Yep.
I cured myself of my phobia of spiders. And yeah.
And so because I don't think I actually have a phobia.
Ooh,
No.
be careful, because when I was a little kid, I learnt that everybody's scared of something. And I thought, I'm not scared of anything. And then I went to school, and when you're in primary school, you have your backpack, and so you take that
Everything's
into the bag room,
Yep.
and you take out your lunchbox and your hat, and then you put that into the tub in the classroom. And so
Yeah.
I'd just done that, and I turned around, and my best friend Isabella has said to me, Hayley, I don't think I'm going to play with you today. And I'm like, why not? She's like, because you've got a spider on your shoulder. And I
Oh,
look, and there's a
no.
big garden spider on my shoulder, and it crawled all the way down my arm. And I burst into tears and hugged my teacher, who I didn't even like because she was this creepy old lady, and I've been scared of spiders ever since.
No,
So
I know.
be careful before you say you're not scared of
Okay.
anything.
I know something Sue's scared of. I gave her a glass of water once, and she went, "They give that to plants. What are you talking about? I don't want that."
Where's the wine?
I wasn't going to go there.
Where's my booze? Anyway, so you've got much more interesting stuff on
Well,
phobias.
Yes.
I think I'm the first phobia that we're going to talk about.
Go on.
Okay.
So I'm a phobophobia.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Someone
so a
who's scared
phobia-
of people with fears.
Well,
Or scared of people
it's
that
a
stutter.
phobia
A phobia. A phobia.
Not that there's anything wrong with stuttering, right?
No, you might be scared of them.
A phobia is a phobophobia is a phobia about phobia.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a fear of fear itself. Is
There
that what
is
you
nothing.
just said?
Yeah, there is nothing to fear except
Except
fear
fear
itself.
itself.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that
help me.
what? Did Harry Potter have that? Did anybody else read them?
No,
'Cause
he
I
had
feel like
claustrophobia.
no, because that's why. In the third movie, when they have like the boggarts in the wardrobe
And
and
she calls
they
us
take the
movie
shape.
geeks.
So this is Harry Potter, guys. This is
Go on.
amazing. So the boggart is supposed to take the shape of whatever they're scared of.
Yep.
And for Harry, it takes the shape of a Dementor, which is supposedly fear itself because they suck all the happiness away from you.
Okay.
So he's kind of a
Sounds
phobophobic.
like my ex-wife.
Wow.
Sucking all the happiness away.
Yep.
She would walk into a room and it'd just go black.
Sounds like the tax man too.
Yeah.
Oh, you make money? No, you don't.
Okay, so
Or
more.
killjoys.
I feel like everybody would kind of be phobophobic, though.
Maybe.
Like, nobody would really enjoy being scared except for those creepy people that go on roller coasters. I mean, who would do that? Roller coasters suck.
But I've got more phobias coming if we want to do those throughout the show.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. As the show progresses, a list of phobias. Also, a little bit later on, Frankie Hamster and Luka Muller will be on the show. He's one of Melbourne's best comedians, according to him.
We'll be back after this.
Yeah, I remember time Mr. and Mrs. Dickens planted the first apple tree here at the Dickens orchard. Mr. Dickens said he would press no cider before the fruit was ripened to absolute perfection. Then it happened. That old orchard yielded the juiciest, most delicious apples we ever did see. That was 50 years ago. That was the first time I ever had a Dickens cider. I'll never forget that first Dickens cider. I was 17, and I think Dorothy was 16. I think that was Dorothy's first Dickens cider, too.
I start every day with a Dickens cider. At breakfast or later in the day, a Dickens cider is the perfect pick-me-up.
My first Dickens cider? Geez, I remember hearing how great a Dickens cider was before I actually had one. It was an old friend that let me have a Dickens cider. I was so excited with anticipation, I spilled it all over me.
The other day, my husband's friend asked him why we both seem so healthy and happy all the time. He told him, easy, my wife doesn't let me go a day without a Dickens cider. And she enjoys the rejuvenating effects of a wholesome, delicious Dickens cider, too. Dickens cider.
Dickens cider.
Everybody loves a Dickens cider.
From the famous Dickens apple orchards of Maine. Get that old-fashioned, down-home feel of a Dickens cider. You can get a Dickens cider almost anywhere. Just look for the label with the donkey on it, or, as they say at the orchard up in Maine, the Dickens cider ass. Oh, gee. Dickens cider from Dickens, a subsidiary of Good Swift.
And Matt from the CBD says, if I have a question, where do I send it? Shane?
Is that a question?
Well, the same place you sent the letter, idiot.
Is that your question?
Why didn't you just send the question?
I love saying...
I don't know. Welcome back to 94.1 FM. This is the Elegant Universe. And if you've got any comments, questions, queries, suggestions, anything like that, go to our Facebook page, the Elegant Universe Radio Show. Make sure you write Radio Show or you'll never find it.
Is that named after that book by Brian Greene?
See, yeah, that's the reason why we have
I'm reading that book right now.
That's why we have to say Radio Show.
And if you just type in the Elegant Universe, it goes to that. So that book's probably got like hundreds of fans that should belong to us.
It's actually got like 400,000 likes or
it's
something.
A great book. I would recommend it highly.
and we've got all of maybe 100. Anyway.
Yeah, you should be recommending our show.
Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. This is good. If you want to know about string
we
theory.
haven't introduced you yet, so you just watch it.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Greene. I wrote The Elegant Universe.
Okay, Hayley, let's have a horoscope.
Okay, so Aries, this week you'll accidentally laugh out loud during a funeral. Better start digging your own grave.
Oh, no. Okay, Susie, would you like to introduce our
I
special
would.
guest?
That voice that you were hearing just then that you may not have recognised, it wasn't Shane getting younger.
No. And it wasn't Brian Greene.
No, it was Luka Muller. Welcome to the show. Yay!
G'day, guys.
He's one of the first guests that ever clapped himself.
Yeah.
He just clapped himself then.
Most people don't clue onto that. They go, oh, I'll just take the applause.
Yeah.
You got to reward yourself. Happy to be here. I'm allowed to feel good. Hey, someone said before, it was either you or Shane. I was listening in the green room.
Yeah.
Someone said, coming up, we have Luka Muller, one of Melbourne's funniest comedians.
Yes.
According to him.
Yeah,
That's
Shane said that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I never claimed to be funny.
That's hilarious.
He said according to you, you were the fun. I think he was
I
meaning
noticed that.
according to himself.
Yeah.
You were the funny.
Sometimes Shane skips a beat in his head and says things. We just let him
Loses
say
oxygen.
Comes with age.
Yeah.
Comes with
So,
age.
for his sake. I mean, he's slighted me and now he's gone. I don't know where he
Well, if there's
ran
going to
away.
be a fight, we'll put it up on our Elegant Universe page and we'll get some hits from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
People will be like, this is all stuff about string theory. Where's the fight?
Yeah.
And then they find our hip hop worldwide battle. Anyway.
Anyway, we are here to learn a bit about you and what's
Okay.
going on in the world of Luka Muller.
All right.
So you are a comedian around town.
Yeah, I suppose so. Aspiring comedian, you know.
And how
dreams
long
are
have you
coming
been
true.
doing it?
It was a bit of a tumultuous journey. I've only lived in Melbourne for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been doing it like properly that amount of time, like 5-6 times a week as much as I can.
Wow.
But then my first gig was actually like about 4 years ago when I was in year 12. I did Class Clowns. Do you guys know what that is?
yes, Triple J.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's like a stand-up contest for high school kids. And I did that, but then in the next 2 years, like I maybe did 10 sets or something. So I don't really count it from then. And because this way, if I go, I've been doing it 2 years, people are like, oh, you're really good for 2 years.
Yeah.
But
Well, you've got to start
I'm just
somewhere.
okay for 4 years.
And so when you did Class Clown, was that the very first time you got up in front of people to do a stand-up routine?
Yeah, it was. Like I'd done like school plays and stuff, but
Yep.
never really a major role and definitely never anything like stand-up. It was the
And
first time.
what was it like in front of your peers doing that?
It was awesome. Like, I think that system's really good, and I think I got lucky because, like, you do it in front of just the other people, like the other Class Clowns contestants, before you do it in front of an audience.
Okay.
So it was me in front of, like, 5 people, one of whom was, like, my best friend from high school. So I'm like, well, this is easy. This is awesome. These guys are so nice. And then, I don't know, it went well.
And so where does Class Clown take you then from there? Do they put you into other comedy circuits or?
No, not really, but that's sort of like a way that you can meet other comics and like you meet, they have like good Melbourne comedians host the events, like host the Class Clowns thing. So I met some people like that, like Xavier Michaelides and Harley Breen and stuff. And then when I moved to Melbourne, I sort of had a point of reference. So I messaged them and was like, what do I do now that I live here? How do I go about starting comedy? And then, there's luckily like a real sweet community around it and you can just get in there.
So you were saying off air that you aren't originally from Melbourne, that you grew up on a farm.
Yeah, not like a farm, but I lived in Echuca, which is like pretty small country.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually got family from there.
Really?
That's really
What are the-
weird.
what are
Maybe you guys are related.
Who are they? Maybe I know
Well,
them.
they're from Mathara,
It's close.
which the Child's family.
Oh, yeah, that rings a bell. I think
Yes.
maybe I went to primary school with a child or something.
Oh, no.
Do you know one time I went to Mathara and I
Yeah.
lit a fire and
Yeah.
the fire...
Are you sure you should be
people
saying
had to
this
come?
on radio?
Yeah,
I went and I just let a bomb off and
And there was all these kids and they were sad. But yeah, I went there. I don't know, me and my friend wanted to film like a fire, and then we were going to put it out but then our hoses didn't work, and then fire they had to come and put it out.
Oh my god!
But they were pretty cool about it. I guess they're bored like around Mathara. There's no other fires.
True.
Yeah.
One time I had a friend, this is completely different, but it's calling the fire brigade. I had a friend got stuck at the skate park in a skate bowl because it was next to the athletics track.
Yeah.
Which we had like our athletics day for school.
Yeah.
And so everyone kind of like was playing in the skate park just like without skateboards or bikes, just like running around.
Yeah.
So we all kind of went into that big like pool thing.
Yeah.
And then she couldn't get herself out, and everyone else got themselves out, and she couldn't get herself out, and so they had to call the fire brigade. I think someone else got her out, like manpower, before the fire brigade arrived. But
so was your friend very portly? Or was she...
we could say that. So she needed 2 fully grown men to help her out.
Oh,
so,
then
yeah, a little bit on that side.
Yeah.
God, yeah. As a person I'll frequent a skate park every now and then. I'm not too good of a skateboarder, but I enjoy it. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing a little kid get stuck in the bottom of a bowl, just like their little tiny legs, like, oh, come on, and they just can't get out.
That's
so
hilarious.
good.
You could be some kind of like skate park superhero going around your skateboard and saving all these little kids that are stuck in the bowl. You know, if you're a nice person, you could.
I could.
Or you
You're
could
right.
just sit there and laugh.
Or you could, ride around tainting, ha ha ha, you're stuck.
Yeah, you could get
Scar
like
them for life.
this is getting crazy. You could get like a really like huge amount of oil and make them all
That's-
like really oily, so no one can get out. Like you just keep
That's
slipping.
hilarious.
And
People
You
just keep
can't
falling.
skate in there.
That's a great idea.
Anyway,
If
World
you weren't a
domination.
comedian and you were a superhero, what would it be?
Oh,
what would my
that's a good question.
superpower be?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go. You'd go flight. I'm taking flight.
Mm.
Flight's
Flight?
great. What about you?
What would you be, Sue?
What would I be?
Yeah.
I would make wine available to everyone for free.
Oh gosh,
that's not really a superpower.
Yeah.
You want to be a superhero. You want to be a
That's
rich
just
guy.
That's Dionysus, which is kind of getting crazy. I've already decided my superpower, and it's really not very super heroic, if that's a word. But it's like what I need. It'd be to not have to sleep, so you could just be like, never get tired. Be able to do stuff 24/7.
Yeah.
But if you do want to
Isn't
have a
that a
nice nap, then
vampire?
you can. Yeah, maybe I just
Sort
want to be a
of.
vampire
Sort
without
of.
the whole bloodlust thing
Yeah.
because I like food.
Or the sun. Come on, I enjoy the sun too much.
Have you seen how like pale I am? I do tend to avoid the sun anyway most of the time.
Crazy. If I had to be a superhero, see, this is a big question now.
Yes.
I would, a bit nerdy with my superheroes here. I'd have to be Phoenix. And for people who don't
Who
know
is
what
that?
Phoenix
I don't know.
Silence.
Phoenix is Jean Grey from the X-Men.
Okay.
And she's so powerful she can pretty much do whatever she wants. So God, in essence.
Yeah.
But she never gets to that ability because they sort of kill her before she...
Yeah.
But anyway, or if I couldn't be her, it'd be Superman. Like, come on, hands down, Superman can do whatever he
Superman.
wants. Like, there's no... And here's the funny thing about Superman is he's not really a man, so he's an alien, and he's not really super... He's sun, like he gets his power from the sun. So realistically, we should call him Sun Alien.
Or solar alien.
Yeah, Solar Alien. That's actually his real name.
Well, if you traveled to a different planet
Yeah.
and attached solar panels to your back, you would be solar alien too.
Technically, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
With a planet with really bad gravity and...
If you went to any planet, you'd probably be considered a superhero just because you'd be different.
Yeah.
Like,
Or a
Yeah.
mutant,
Yeah,
depending on how
like
positive
Be
they
in
are.
the zoo.
yeah, if there was some life form that came here and it was just like a puddle, we'd be like, oh my god, that's sick! But it's just like, I don't know, just a completely physically enabled puddle on a different
Yeah.
place. It's like, I wasn't even that good at sports when I was a puddle kid.
Yeah, it was like the loser of the other planets.
Yeah.
I'll go somewhere where they appreciate me.
It comes here and it can join the swimming pool and...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, more from the Elegant Universe.
To license it.
Welcome back to 94.1 FM. If you've just joined us, you've missed out on half of a really cool conversation. Susie.
And we are joined by Luka Muller today. Again,
guys.
welcome. Hi. So we are talking, Luka is a fine comedian around town at the moment. And you are working about 5 nights a week, as you were saying. And
Yeah.
you have what coming up?
Oh, a bunch of stuff. Got like gigs all around town, like doing a gig in Richmond that you told me to plug, even though it's very small. But that'll be good.
Plug
Go to
away,
that.
plug away.
Just in general, go to comedy all the time. There's good comedy on every night of the week. Like a couple of weeks I'll be at Spleen Bar. That's on a
Cool.
Monday. That's awesome. But the main thing is, starting next week, February 3rd,
Mm-hmm.
me and some friends are starting a comedy room at The Wild, which is a place in Fitzroy.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what time's that going to be starting? How long will it go for?
Starts at 8, and
Yep.
we've got like a proper show from 8 till 9, so that'll be booked comedians who we know are really good.
Right.
And then from like 9 or so onwards, we'll have a bit of a break after that, so you can grab a drink, do whatever.
Yep.
And then from after that, it's just going to be an open mic, which I love, because it's a lot of good comedians, because comedians need stage time, and you'll see a lot
Yep.
of good comics. And you'll also see like insane people, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about comedy, is just the nutcases who think that they should be doing comedy.
Yeah.
And they should be, because, oh my God, that's like the hardest I've ever laughed.
And so will it be entry fee? What's it?
Oh, no, it's free. I mean, probably we'll shake a jug at you and hope that you put some gold coins in there at the
Nice.
end of the night or whatever,
Yep.
but yeah, it's free.
Excellent.
Cool.
And so how did you get into acting? Like what?
Into acting?
Oh, sorry,
Comedy.
comedy.
Well, I got into acting at some point in the future, and let me tell you, it was weird.
Sold out and went into comedy films.
Yeah,
Bad
I'm,
scripts.
I'm the new Adam Sandler now. So.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Sorry, how did I get
Comedy.
into comedy?
Yeah. So what started? What was your inspiration into?
You want to know something really bad? Because I said before, I was on Class Clowns.
Yep.
And the reason that I'd always sort of wanted to do comedy, but never really knew how to do that. And then a guy that I went to high school with, who moved to a different high school, but I was still friends with him on Facebook. I saw that he had done Class Clowns the year before I did it.
Yep.
And he'd done really well. He got to the national final. And I like hated this guy. And he was kind of like a bully and stuff. And I was like, screw this guy. I bet I'm better at comedy than this guy. And then I did it. And I also got to the national final. And I was like, oh, I really, really love doing this. And then like I never stopped being into comedy.
Cool. Good reason to do anything despite those that you hate.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And where is he now? He doesn't even do comedy anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, come here. I'll fight you. I'll fight Shane. I'll fight everybody.
Okay, lots of fight videos going up.
Have a comedy off.
Yeah.
And so what material, where does your material come from? Is it day-to-day life? Do you have specific sort of areas that you...
Oh, all around. I don't know. I tell a few stories and stuff and just sort of... I think a good thing to do is like... Just whatever you walk around thinking about, talk about that, because then at least it'll be like a real thing. It's crazy when people are like... They just get on stage and like make stuff up. Not in the way of like they're making it up as they go, but in the way of like... Do you ever think about like how bananas are weird when you peel them or whatever? It's like, nah, nobody thinks about that. Like maybe you thought about it. I don't know, but I'm sure you can make everything relatable. But just
like it's
talk
not
about
real
some stuff. But I love just going on stage, not knowing what I'm going to talk about, and just talking to the crowd or being a silly goose.
That sounds really scary.
What's been your worst experience on stage since starting comedy?
Oh, somebody prepped me for this question and I was thinking about it, right? Okay, this is it. This was so bad. I've had a lot of terrible gigs, but this really takes the cake.
Okay.
Me and my... Sometimes, not so much anymore because they've sort of stopped allowing comedians, but like late last year, my friends and I would go to music open mics and do comedy there because that's awesome. Like they really love it because they're not expecting comedy, and then you go, and if you're good enough, they'll be like, "This is great."
Yeah,
it was so much fun. And so anyway, one time, me and my friend were going to drive out to one that we'd never been to before in like Dandenong.
Yep.
And so we're driving out there, and we saw Ricky Nixon in a car next to us. You know Ricky Nixon? And I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy. That's Ricky Nixon." Take a photo of him, and my friend like went to take a photo of him. And Ricky Nixon saw us, and we were like, "Oh no!" And then at the next lights, he like pulled up behind us and was trying to like wave us down or whatever. And we're like, "Oh god, now Ricky Nixon wants to bash us or something." And so he just kept following us for like 3Ks, and then he took a photo of my number plate, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Wow.
And then at the next lights after that, he pulled up next to us and was like, "Wind down your window." And so I did, and he was like, "What are you boys doing?" And we were like, "Oh, we just thought, it's Ricky Nixon. We'll take a photo." And he goes, "I'm not Ricky Nixon." And so now we nearly got beat up by like a Ricky Nixon lookalike. And then we drive away before he realized that we were accusing him of looking like a dude who like slept with underage girls or whatever. And let's not get into that. And so then we go to the gig, and it's at like a pool hall that's run by bikies.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, is there a music open mic on?" And they were like, "Nah, we cancelled it." Like, "Oh, all right." And they were like, "Why do you want to do music?" We're like, "Oh, we're going to do comedy, but don't worry about it. We've had enough of it, like a big enough day. Let's just go." And then they're like, nah, come on. And so we stood on the pool table and did comedy to like the barman and his two mates.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
And it went terribly, and then we got the heck out of there.
But if you hadn't have had that experience, you wouldn't be able to tell us that story. I think that's hilarious to look back on that.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Okay, well, before we go to a break, Hayley, give us a horoscope.
Okay, Taurus.
I have no idea.
Yes, I stuffed my horoscopes up this week. And
did you?
The stars gave them to me in the wrong order, and so now I have to actually memorize the order of them, and it's just horrible.
Okay.
But Taurus, this week you will attempt to make creme brulee. Who knew that almost pure sugar could taste so bad?
We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Elegant Universe. Hayley.
Okay, so Gemini. This week you will find female underwear in your boyfriend's apartment. Either he's cheating or a cross-dresser. Which would you prefer?
I don't know.
No.
Both disturbing
we'll get back to that.
Yes, both disturbing.
Or both, whatever.
Okay, so we've just had Australia Day, and I went to Torquay. And when I was there with my friend, we went on a massive bushwalk, which led down to this amazing beach. Halfway through the bushwalk, so it takes about an hour to get down there.
Wow.
And halfway through that walk, there's little signs that are starting to show up, and it's telling about the shrubbery and what you could eat, because it used to be an area that Aborigines used to live in. And as you're going further down, it starts telling the story about William Buckley.
Yeah.
So do you know William Buckley?
I know of the name.
Okay, so
I've heard of Nathan Buckley.
Okay, so I said
It's
to
his
you
dad.
in the break, Hayley, if I said to you, you've got Buckley's chance, what would you say? And what was your response?
None.
So Hayley hasn't heard of that before. You've got
Okay.
Buckley's chance.
Really?
Confused her so much
Yeah.
she lost the ability to speak.
To speak, yes.
That's huge.
Which is always useful on radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Luke, you said you used to know
Yeah.
what it meant.
And now
but-
that you've given that little sizzle, I remember the story. So
Little
I won't-
sizzle.
no spoilers.
Okay, so basically, William Buckley was brought out from England as a convict.
Okay.
And they were basically landed around what we now know as Sorrento. They then found wind of the fact that they were going to be moved to Tasmania. So some of the convicts tried to get away. One of them got shot, most of them got injured, and some of them, a little handful of them, got away, and William Buckley was one of those.
Okay.
They thought that they were heading towards Sydney. That's in their mind, that's where they were going to head.
That's quite far.
Yeah, but they were trying to get away.
Yes.
So they ended up splitting up, and William Buckley ended up being on his own and just became really tired, dehydrated, hungry, passed out on a beach area. Before he passed out, he'd found this stick, and when he woke up, there was some Aboriginal women around him. He'd actually picked up a spear-like stick that was used to write on graves by the Aborigines.
Okay.
One of their family members had recently deceased, and they thought that he was the white spirit ghost who had come back because he had the stick. The stick.
Yeah.
So they took him in, and they were called I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Watharung tribe.
Okay.
So
Nailed it. I think you nailed it.
did I?
Yeah.
But you struggled on pronounce.
I know,
Yeah.
pronounce. I'm pronouncing the announcement of how to say this. No.
Yeah, no.
And so he ended up living with this tribe for 32 years.
Wow.
He had 2 wives in that time.
Yeah.
Then there started to become some unrest within the tribe. So he didn't want with the men.
Yep.
So he didn't want to cause any problems, and he said, do you know what, I'm going back to the simple life. I'm going to go out. He knew now all about the tribe, how to speak and all of that, and he was considered quite high in the tribe.
Yeah.
So he came out, and when he came out 32 years later, he came across 3 European men that and told them that he was a shipwrecked shoulder because he was afraid that he would then be shot.
Yeah.
But days later, he ended up confessing who he really was, and he was eventually given a pardon because he was the only person that was able to translate between the Aboriginal people and the now other people. So Buckley's, when you say you've got Buckley's chance, it's actually meant in the positive, meaning that you are given a second chance in life. But don't you know that as a negative?
Got no chance, mate.
You've got no
You're
chance.
ruined.
No, but it's actually the other way around.
There you go.
Now I'm really confused because I never knew about it, and now you've told me it's both positive and negative. So now I'm never going to use it anyway.
Moving forward, all you need to know is you've got Buckley's is a good thing. Yeah. So that's my little
Crazy.
story on Buckley's.
Yeah, cool.
Crazy. Okay.
Is that what you knew, Luca?
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, something like that. That he went missing, got found. Super lucky dude.
Super
What a
lucky
guy.
dude. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rattled. I just accidentally, with my heel, I let down my seat, and I really scared
Oh.
myself.
You know what's weird? Every time, except for today, but every time I come in here, my seat is lowered. And I always put it back up again because I don't like feeling like a midget. No offense to midgets, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wear
I
platform
just would
shoes.
never want to be one.
I like being tall. And it's really frustrating. If anybody knows what's happening to the middle chair on the other side of the desk in the first studio at 3WBC, tell me, because I want to hunt them down. Yeah,
But
thanks.
Lucas, so tell us more about how people can find out more about your gigs and what have you.
All right, guys. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep.
That'd be good. Luka C. Muller on both of them. That's pretty good.
How do you spell Muller?
Muller.
Yeah,
And Luka
okay.
is Luka. A lot of people think it's Ca. I think that's traditionally how you spell it. Anyway. And also, I've just started a podcast. The first episode's out, and I'm recording the second one today after this. So
Okay.
that'll be out in a couple of days. And that's called the Double Dipcast. I do it with my friend Blake, who's a real funny comedian as well.
Cool.
And yeah, you could just search Double Dipcast on Facebook. You find that, and iTunes is where you can listen to it, and it's also online.
And also, just to rehash, you've got a room you're opening.
Yeah.
On the 3rd.
Yep, Comedy at the Wild every Tuesday starting the 3rd of Feb.
We should be able to put that on the Elegant Universe radio show
sweet.
Facebook.
Yep.
And if you've got any comments, any questions for our guest, feel free. We're going to a break, and when we come back, more from your Elegant Universe.
Let's move it along. Have you got more news, Pete?
Yes, a monk has been caught with a nun skeleton at the airport. Figure that out. Figure that out.
How did they know it was a nun skeleton? Didn't you?
The habit. There was a habit on the skull.
Costume.
Yeah, a monk was caught at a Greek airport with the skeletal remains of a nun in his baggage. like full on.
Oh, that's
what is this? It's my sister.
No, there's probably 9 others they don't know about.
Under the monastery, yeah.
They apprehended the 56-year-old guy and detained him at the Athens airport on Sunday after security staff discovered a skull wrapped in a cloth and skeletal remains in sheets inside his baggage.
How do you explain that through customs?
I have no idea.
You know, you want the next guy. He's got dope. Go over there. Yeah, don't look in my bag.
They maintained it was a woman who was a saint. That's apparently...
It was.
He went, yeah.
What did she do?
She died 4 years ago, they figured out, and she was not a saint, but in fact
victim.
just
a victim.
She just got wrong place, wrong time.
You're listening to the Dark Star Effect. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to the Elegant Universe, Hayley.
It's crazy, crazy, working on ways that forever will hold. Success comes from what we do, not from what we're told. And counting on lucky stars is living a more song.
Okay, so Cancer. This week you will lock yourself out of the house with cookies in the oven.
Oh, no.
You have 12 minutes to get back in, or the cookies die.
Well, that makes a lot of sense for Cancer. What a stupid horoscope name, Cancer. Why would you want to be born under a star sign named after a horrible disease?
I'm Cancer. I didn't choose it, obviously. I can't choose when I
that
come out.
explains your sensitivity, doesn't it, darling? You know, you're hard on the outside, but soft and fluffy on the inside, just like a crab.
Yeah,
Cancer.
You know that.
You know the craziest thing about that stuff? You know, like Orion? I know that's not a star sign, but you know that thing?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at that with someone the other day, and they were like, there's Orion's belt. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then they were like, if you go up there, he's holding... What is he holding? Like a sword and a... What's in the other hand? Like a goat or something, right? He's holding an animal?
Yeah, some dead animal.
Yeah. That's like... It doesn't look like that. So
He's upside down to us, though.
Oh, really?
That's why.
Yeah.
In the northern hemisphere... Because he's holding his sword, like, downwards. So that's the problem, because we see him, like, upside down. Because he's got shoulders and everything, but we can't... It looks like legs or, I don't know, stars.
But, like, either way, it doesn't look specifically like he's holding a dead goat.
No,
or
you have to really...
So they were like, oh, it looks like some dude holding a sword. And then some weirdo's just like, and he's also holding a dead goat. It's like, oh, all right, Jeffrey, come on.
And he's also face-to-face with Hercules.
Really?
Like they're going to have a punch on,
Yeah, go at it.
No, aren't they the ones that are never in the sky at the same time? Like, there's some theory that they had this big fight.
I think so.
And now, no matter what time of year or where you're standing, you'll never see both of them in the sky at the same time.
I don't know, but I know that they do go face-to-face.
Yeah,
I don't know when.
If they do end up in the sky at the same time, there'll be like a battle to the death and the
sky
whole world will end.
Great to have conversations like this in the age of enlightenment. Which brings us to our next subject, conspiracy theory.
November 1963, a stirring tableau so sweet. A presidential motorcade, a busy Dallas street. A happy crowd lined the route on that warm autumn day, when suddenly some shots were fired. The target JFK.
Yes. Speaking of enlightenment, Luka, do you have a favourite conspiracy theory?
I've got.
Yeah,
I love conspiracy theories. I really like the one. This is less of a. I mean, I suppose it is a conspiracy theory, but the idea that the value of our money is slowly being taken away. You know that thing?
No.
Because like money used to be made of gold, very valuable, and then it was made of. Now it's just made of paper and like less valuable metals, and now it's moving online. Like all of our money is stored online, and they're taking away the value of our money, so that at some point they can just go bloop, and all our money's deleted,
and it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see what's happening here. Yeah, that's cool. I might have to look into that conspiracy, so that might be one for a couple of weeks. But this week.
There in your small little small little cares. You have no way of knowing what goes on out there. You might think you are in control and that your life is complete. I tell you there's a new world order, secret and elite.
This conspiracy theory is a bit close to my heart. It involves a comedian that recently passed away, Stella Young, who I knew before she was a comedian. I knew her when she was a young girl in Stall. And she said many, many years ago, she said, Frank, if I ever die of a brain embolism or a stroke, you will know that I've been killed. Now, you can scoff, but she did. She died of a stroke. Then it made me think, what sort of dark forces would want to take down Stella Young? Now, being the voice of Disabled Australia and the voice of Ramp Up on the ABC and the main push behind the NDIS, I suspect that there's certain forces at work in this stinky government of ours that wanted to take her out, so that voice for the NDIS would no longer be heard, therefore they can pull the funding and no one would say anything about it, which is exactly what's occurred over the summer.
Oh, no.
Now, if you've got any more evidence to my conspiracy theory, please put it on our Facebook page, The Elegant Universe Radio Show. And while you're out there on the internet, make sure you go to Luka's podcast, which is called
The Double Dip Cast.
The Double Dip Cast, which he does with another phenomenal comedian called Blake Freeman. And these two guys together are hilarious. Much more hilarious than any conspiracies I seem to come up with. But anyway.
I'd like to know with your conspiracy, with how she's said to you that if I ever die of a stroke or a brain aneurysm, then you know it's foul play or whatever. How would she know that she wasn't naturally going to die of one of those?
Well, of course she did.
Like, what if I said, like, if I ever die by being trampled by a goat and stabbed in the head by a deranged woman while surfing a paddock?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Stella, God rest her soul, was a sufferer of something called osteoimperfecta, which is, of course, brittle bone disease. The thing that she would have most likely have died of would be a broken spine, okay, which could occur with a big sneeze. But yeah, never anything like a blood clot, brain embolism, aneurysm, anything like that. You know, stroke. Never prepared for that.
So that's not normal for her disability?
Hell no. I mean, Quentin Keenahan, who's a film producer. He was made famous by Mike Willisey. People might remember back in the early 80s. Did a documentary about him having steel rods placed in his legs to replace his bones. He's a film director nowadays, still gets around in his wheelchair. Very healthy guy. Just turned 40 the other day. Has no, circulation issues or anything like that. Neither did Stella, for that matter. Just the whole thing's a bit smelly. I suspect lizard people involvement again.
Again. When you hear about
they're out there.
When you hear about people with disabilities passing away younger than most people, you don't tend to question it. It's just kind of expected. So it's kind of strange when it's something that you wouldn't associate with that disability.
Oh, look, I'm always I always suss on early death. You know, except for bloody, people on ice that plough a car into a tree.
Yeah.
That's kind of expected, really.
No, why would you expect that? They're just going about their business.
Oh, yeah, if you call that. Have you driven down Maroondah Highway lately, at night?
Yes.
My God,
Yes.
you see cars going sideways down there at 2 o'clock in the morning. What's up with that?
Yeah.
But anyway. If you've got any other conspiracy theories, or if you want me to look into something else, Daniel Eccles asked me to look into something last week. We got an answer on World Trade Center 7. Shane's going to get me to look into something next week, something really big. So listen out for that. We're going to be talking about the rise of... I'll save it for next week.
All right,
We'll save it for next week. The rise of something nasty in our society. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right, well, let's go to a break, and when we come back, more from the Elegant Universe.
Yeah.
That clearly it's a conspiracy. The fact that there's no evidence is proof enough for me that clearly it's a conspiracy. A freaking conspiracy. A vast conspiracy.
Welcome back to the radio show that's doing for radio what Justin Bieber does for the science of dentistry. We're here with our very special guest, Luka. Welcome back.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Peter.
You said beaver, not Bieber, by the way.
Beaver.
Anyway.
Beaver?
Beaver.
No,
He's a beaver.
Anyway,
have you seen his haircut?
Have you seen him come out with his new little video clip?
No.
He came out with this yesterday.
Right.
So this is brand
Trust
new.
you to be on it.
Yeah, you're right on that one, aren't you,
Yeah,
Pete?
like fanboy from hell, right?
Yeah,
Anyway, he came out with a thing because he's been a bit of a mongrel lately. Spray painting everywhere,
Driving fast,
peed in a mop bucket,
egging people's houses like hardcore criminal up in here.
Right.
Anyway, he's come out with a video apologising for the way he's acting, saying, "Look, I really got caught up with the whole Hollywood thing. I was being a bit of an idiot, and I'm sorry for it." And he's the only
kudos
he's the
to him.
only celebrity I've ever seen that actually admits they have a problem.
Robert Downey Jr. did it.
He didn't admit it. He just all of a sudden cleaned up his act, and he's like, "What are you talking about? Drugs?
Yeah,
I'm not on drugs. What are you talking about?"
Because hasn't Johnny Depp, I saw a very quick snippet the other day, Johnny Depp has apparently been doing the rounds for a new movie or something and been turning up drunk or something.
Mordecai is his new movie.
That movie's meant to be really terrible. 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, no.
And we all go to Rotten Tomatoes for our movie reviews.
Oh, of course.
But see, the thing about that is they recommended the Troma videos, which I watched.
What Troma video?
Oh, Cycle Girls from Dimension X.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they recommend.
What, as bad movies or good movies?
Oh, no, they're great.
What? No,
Mexican wrestlers from space taking over small towns. They're great.
But what about the new, are they saying they're good movies or bad movies?
No, they're saying they're good.
Well.
So, what does that tell you then?
Exactly.
I rang Shane the other day, rang him exclusively just to tell him this title for a movie that I reckon we should make.
Tell us all.
Get this, you ready for this title? It's the coolest title ever. It's Mermaid Princess
right.
from Mars.
Yep.
Think about how many levels that has.
And we're making
Mermaid
it.
Princess
We're going to make
from
that
Mars.
movie.
Think about that.
In my head, I was like, but there's no water on Mars.
Exactly.
But then I'm like, oh, there's also no mermaids.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense.
then you could have the whole storylines about that's the reason why there's no water. It's because she's come here because they're.
She brought the water with her.
Or an evil sibling of some sort has done the naughtiness.
Loki. Yeah, sister, but it's a sister. Yeah, Luca, your favourite movie?
Yeah.
That is so hard.
Yeah.
Or just throw one at us. Throw one that you enjoy watching.
Oh, you know what I really love?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I hadn't seen that movie until about a week ago.
What?
And now it's up there.
What?
I know.
Really?
I had never seen it.
Cool. We have, Peter and I, every now and again, we'll have a Star Wars marathon, a Jurassic marathon, a Batman marathon. We'll all go around because Pete's got like the biggest TV on the planet.
Yeah.
And we'll just sit there and watch like 12 hours straight.
I want to come to the next marathon.
All the Transformer movies.
Yeah, the next one is Lord of the Rings.
Probably.
Okay, well, I haven't seen them, so let's do that.
Oh,
No.
what was that?
No, thank you.
9 hours.
Not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, that's more acceptable.
Yeah,
I'll
with the
come for
ring.
the Star Wars marathon, though.
Yeah, excellent. Cool, because that's like nearly 24 hours of straight movies now if you sat down with the new ones.
Yeah.
And the new one, The Birth of the Force.
Yeah. And the new Jurassic Park's
The
coming
Birth
out.
of the Force. The Force Awakens, thanks,
The
mate.
Force Awakens.
Oh,
nerd in the room.
Look Force Awakens, buddy.
I was given the description, not the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is this
So
another
watch it,
Star
young
Wars
It's the right
punk.
idea. It's the right idea.
Yeah, young punk. I heard before you said you could take me.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
and you wouldn't be the first
I'm
young
fighting
punk.
everyone
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first young punk that has been absolutely surprised when he's tried to take me.
That is true.
Even got one to go to jail. But anyway, that's
Anyway,
another story.
what news do we have today?
I've got more phobias.
Yeah, go on.
Any more
Let's
phobias?
do that.
Okay, so this is Caliginophobia.
Caliginophobia.
Fear of helicopters.
Actually,
Or gynecologists?
Yeah, fear of gynecologist named Kelly.
Shane this might be yours, actually.
Okay, let's hear it.
Go on.
It's an unwarranted fear of beautiful women.
No, it's not
How
my
could you have a fear of beautiful women?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
definitely not a fear. I admit it's a problem, but it's not a fear.
Okay, well, here's what causes or what happens when you're going through it. It's panic attacks.
Yeah.
And it damages social interaction.
Okay.
It's common in adolescents and men.
Yeah.
So I guess adolescents,
kidding.
more boys and girls.
Yeah.
And specifically those who do not have straight orientation. which is weird.
There
Don't
you
you think
go.
that's weird?
Oh.
Why would that be?
It's definitely Shane's problem there.
I get into a battle of
But
wits with you.
I feel like with phobias, like the reason it's so scary is your mind makes it the worst case scenario already. So if you have you're scared of spiders, you see a spider and you're like, well, that's going to bite me. I'm going to.
And automatically,
But
it's
if
got
you
a little
see-
knife and a gun, and it's like,
Yeah, and if you see a beautiful woman and you're scared, you're like, well, I'm going to fall in love with her, and she'll fall in love with me, and then we'll get married and divorced, and I'll lose everything.
Is that what happens in the first 3 seconds?
We were just saying the other day, I was talking to my wife about spiders, and there's this spider in the corner, and you notice spiders are never not ready.
What do you
Have you
mean?
noticed that? They're always sitting there ready to go. Whatever's going on,
Oh, right.
the spider is ready to go. You'll never ever see a spider lying in a hammock made of a web, just chilling out with his arms spread out. You never see that. They're ready
Pina
to go.
colada.
That's true.
Yeah, and you'll never see a spider, like you look at the web and you go, nah, that spider's not ready, right? Touch the web, though. Touch the web and tell me that spider's not ready. They come running out like they were ready.
What you doing? What you
They
doing?
were born ready.
If there was a man who was born outside and grew up in the forest
Yeah.
and had to hunt for his own food, though, he would also be very
Yeah,
ready.
But I think he'd sleep at some point. Spiders are like, they've got 40 eyes around their head, seeing every direction. They don't have to turn around to be ready. They're ready.
They're ready. They're ready.
born. It's
Do you know what's
ridiculous.
annoying me at the moment is my mirrors on the side of my car.
Yeah.
I swear there's spiders
always.
inside and
Always.
behind.
Yeah.
How do you get those little...
You go to the
bastards
car
out?
wash and you blast them
Or
out.
you get the
don't they
can
just-
and you spray it in the
Yeah, but
gap.
then another one takes its spot. You're better off just blasting it and then wait and then
But
blast it
can't
again.
they survive water pressure and that by rolling up or something into a little ball or something?
Not the pressure from those hardcore gun
Sick
things
of
from
seeing cobwebs on my mirrors.
Yeah, I know. I
Just
know.
do both. Blast them out and then do that.
and then
Yeah,
spray.
yeah.
Or mix spray in the water.
I hate the sprays that go, lasts up to 3 months with no spot. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Not at your
sure.
house.
Yeah. 5 minutes later, the new spiders are coming in with baggage. You know, got the kids following behind. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, 3 months.
Okay, I think I've got this next phobia, even though at the
Okay.
start of the show I said I didn't have any.
Yeah.
I'm realising I actually probably have a lot.
Okay.
This is spectrophobia.
Okay.
Do you know what this is?
No.
Fear of
Ghosts
deep
and stuff.
space.
What?
No, that'd be Spectre.
Okay.
No,
This
no,
happens
the
almost-
evil organisation trying to kill James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Go on.
happens, I think, almost every morning.
Okay.
Fear of looking at yourself in the mirror or seeing your own reflection.
Yeah, I've got that.
What?
I got it at the gym.
Oh, no.
Is that why you stopped going? So, that causes traumatic events wherein victims look in the mirror
Mm.
and they've seen a ghostly apparition by looking at themselves in the mirror.
What?
That's weird.
So that's
They
how
shouldn't
how
have
it
said
begins.
Candyman 3 times when they were there.
Yes.
What's
That's
the
hilarious.
Candyman?
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's a movie where if you say Candyman into the mirror
3 times and then turn off
Isn't
the
it the same
light
for
of your
Beetlejuice
peers.
as well?
Yeah, yeah,
Bloody Mary as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did it. Peter and I did it at a show on stage. We got an old mirror,
Yeah.
like a really big one, and we got some girl out of the audience.
Yeah.
And we said, look in the mirror, and if you say Mary Jane 3 times, you'll see the spectre. And I told this really elaborate story about how an old antique dealer who'd lost everything and his wife had run away. And his dying words were, I'll get you for this, you bitch. But as he said that, he died and his spirit and the energy went into the mirror. And we got this girl up on stage. You should see, the videos are amazing. They absolutely crap themselves
Yeah,
every
it
time.
scares the living
it scares the
Jesus
crap
out
out
of them.
And then nothing happens,
Yeah.
which is the funny bit, yeah. Next phobia.
Chorophobia.
Chorophobia.
Actually, this one's funny.
Fear of the barrier reef.
I think I know this one.
No,
Isn't it
that's-
fear of your genitals being sucked inside your own body while you're
Oh,
asleep?
What?
No, there's a syndrome called Koro syndrome where if you have
Yeah.
that, you
And
sleep.
you're well versed in this. Why?
It's like a thing. Japanese royalty used to have Koro boys, who was someone who held their genitals while they were asleep because they were so scared it would get sucked inside.
Sure.
And
Just
also,
for while they
if-
were asleep.
to
Sure.
get into the Imperial Palace in China,
Yeah.
in old Beijing, you used to have to cut. You have to be castrated before you could go in.
Then I'm not going in.
They
Sorry,
wouldn't-
boys.
Yeah, but all that aside, what the hell is this?
Well, this is an irrational fear of dance.
Okay.
That's
So
a lot
it's
more
nothing
pleasant.
to do with the
It's
genitals.
quite a mild by
I would
You
rather
haven't
have
seen
a
How
fear
I
of
Dance.
dance.
Yeah. So these are people who adamantly, like when you go to weddings or discos, whatever,
Yeah.
that just will not get up and dance
Okay.
because they literally fear it. So they just won't get up on their feet under any circumstance.
I'm dancing on the inside.
I kind of have that. I'm not a big dancer.
No?
Not at all.
Yeah, but it's not an irrational fear, though.
Yeah,
is
no,
it?
it's like too
one
cool.
more.
What, I was going to say too cool. Yeah.
One more.
Okay, so we have a scopophobia.
Okay.
Fear of looking through a telescope at the sky at night.
Almost. Nowhere
Almost.
near it. A fear of being seen or being stared at.
I rest my case. My neighbours, when I look through the telescope and everything, it's like they're scared. They're closing the curtains, locking the door. You know, it's just, really.
And the phone call doesn't help.
Yeah, it does.
You know, why are you closing your blinds?
Open the window.
And the police showing up every time.
You've been listening and are still listening to The Elegant Universe on 3WBC Worldwide. We'll be back with our special guest, Luka, after this.
You want some of my wool, man? I'll cut you. I will cut you.
You're looking at me? You're looking at me? But there's nobody else here. Hey, just before we go to the break, pseudo-necrophilia.
Pseudo?
Unlike necrophilia, pseudo-necrophilia is actually legal, and that is not necessarily a good thing.
Necessarily?
Yeah, it is quite simple. Actually, one partner remains very quiet and still, while the other partner pretends that they are dead.
Oh, so that's a married couple. Oh,
The other
it's a
part-
married couple.
And for added... But wait.
That's great. Yeah,
So what
stroke him
you're
again,
saying
take that.
What you're saying is this is normal.
Yeah, honey, no.
Okay. For added realism, one partner can lay in cold water for up to an hour before the act of coitus begins. This particular practice with some notoriety thanks to the appearance in the show Law and Order in the Special Victims Unit show, where they did a feature on pseudo-necrophilia. You're listening to the Dark Star Effect. We'll be back in a minute with the darker side of human nature as we delve even deeper into it with the mysterious Peter X.
Welcome back to 94.1 FM. This is The Elegant Universe. Hayley, let's have a horoscope.
Okay, so Leo, this week you will lose your voice and have to listen to other people for once. It turns out everyone else is really boring.
Oh.
Well,
there
poor
you go.
Leo. But they shouldn't have been talking so much in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I have a news article if anyone is
Yeah, let's go.
interested.
Love it.
Okay, so, of course, in this elegant universe, what else do we want to hear about but a whale poonator?
Poonator.
Poonator.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
I will explain. Okay, so recently, some divers off the coast of the Caribbean were swimming next to a large sperm whale.
Yep.
And it decided to relieve itself.
Right.
Okay, so it filled the water with clouds of fecal matter, then lay on its side and used its tail to fan it across 30 meters of the water.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
One of the divers says that the crystal blue water of the Caribbean turned into what he terms a chocolate milkshake. Okay. They claim that it's a defense mechanism the whale uses, and apparently they often do it before they descend into the depths. I'm not sure if it's worse relieving yourself down there or what it is.
Yeah.
But to make it worse, some of the divers had chosen not to wear any scuba equipment.
Oh my god.
For fear it might actually disturb the whales. So they were fully
snorkeling.
Yeah. Yeah,
What's
swimming
the phobia
in
for
a,
that? That's brutal.
Yeah, there must be a new phobia now.
That's definitely scarring for the rest of your life.
And they stayed underwater with it to take photographs because it has never been documented before. So they sacrificed themselves to take photos because who doesn't want to see photos of a whale poonator? Yeah. That's my news. I thought you guys like that. Sound like the type of thing you'd like.
Thanks for sharing. So, Luka, if we listen to your podcast, what would we be listening to? What are we going to find?
Yeah, what sort of a show?
So it's me, and like I said, my friend Blake, who's
Yep.
a comic as well. And we have a guest on every week.
Yep.
And we kind of talk about the news and stuff. Like we pick 3 news stories or like trending hashtags from the week.
Yep.
And bring them in and discuss those. But we kind of just use it as a backbone to, chat about whatever.
Yeah.
It gets pretty loose, but that's like the basis of it anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I might use that Punado story because, like I said, I have to go afterwards, and I've only written down 2 for the week. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah, do you want the rest of my material while you're at
Yeah,
it?
yeah, man.
I'll just give you my notebook.
We've actually just introduced a segment where we talk about horoscopes, so
that'll
be
really?
good, actually.
Yeah. I found in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, I found in Queenstown this little like magazine that was lying on the street that people have obviously made and handed around, and they had horoscopes like mine in there.
Really?
Like these negative ones.
Oh.
Nowhere near as good, obviously.
Of course.
Like,
Of course.
They were stupid. They were completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
make any sense. Clearly weren't really from the stars.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
gosh, guys. But yeah, I found someone else doing my stuff. Not as good, so stick with me. Like, I will tell you your future for real.
Wow, crazy.
Okay,
crazy.
so I've got another story about what someone has done to be sent to jail.
Yep.
I
Okay.
don't
Let's
think they intentionally did it to be sent to jail, but this is what they did.
Okay.
And
Well,
Well,
ended
some
up-
people would, you know. I hear they get lobster there. So
Really?
I
Wouldn't
heard
be real. It'd be tinned lobster
You know,
or
like
something,
when
surely.
you're in high school and you're forced to read the newspaper for something.
Yeah,
One of the things I read was about like the treatment of prisoners and
Is
how
ridiculously
they
good.
live better than
Yes.
people that are on the dole.
Right.
Like how they're treated is somehow equates
Well,
to
it's
being
better
better.
than the elderly.
Yeah, and so
Hands
they
down already. And the
Nursing
disabled
homes,
most
yeah,
of the
exactly.
time.
Yep.
And so they had like the menus of the prisons in Victoria, and one of them apparently served lobster.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so maybe they did do this on purpose to get some decent food.
But see, this is what we were just talking off air about the death penalty. And did you know that I didn't know this, but Australia only abolished the death penalty for federal offences in 1973.
Really?
Like, does that not seem so recent to you?
Did you know, this is a bit grim. That is very recent, yes. But there was a guy in Colombia who killed like 200 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like street kids and stuff who had no family, so when they went missing, nobody really noticed. And
Yeah.
he eventually got caught. And in Colombia, there's no death penalty, and also the maximum prison sentence is 30 years.
Wow.
So he's getting released in like 5 years' time.
And
For
you
killing
can't like get
20,
multiple
200
sentences.
You can't.
That's
you can't
crazy.
get multiple sentences.
But
Wow.
think about it. Out of those 200 people, he would have murdered somebody who would have been related to those 200 people because, like, seriously, there couldn't be that many people there. And, you know, the separation...
does that matter?
Well, the separation of 6 degrees, right? Is
Okay.
that somebody would have been related to one of the 200 and probably the biggest, baddest guy in the prison too. And when the guy gets in, do you really think he's getting out?
Well,
Yeah.
no, because of his crimes, he's been in solitary confinement, so he
Yeah,
hasn't been
that's
killed.
probably why.
So he hasn't been killed in prison or anything.
But then the
So he's
prison
gonna get
guards,
out.
or the prison guards could be in on it, and
Wow.
you know, he's got to eat.
Well,
So the lesson
maybe.
here is that if you're going to kill people, kill enough so that you get put in solitary confinement and don't have to deal with the rest of the people there.
Is that the
Become
lesson?
the Joker.
Yeah. In Colombia.
In Colombia.
In Colombia.
Become
Yeah.
the Joker, pretty much. That's the moral to the story.
But
Did you have
do you
crimes?
agree or disagree with the death penalty? Like, I think if they've done such a horrendous crime, let them rot in jail. Like, why do they get to escape life and any misery they've got in their head from being sent to jail by being like given the death
Well,
penalty?
see,
It doesn't make sense.
I
to me.
also disagree with the death penalty, but for a different reason. I just don't think anybody has the right to take away a life. And if we're punishing them for exactly that,
Yeah.
it's just completely hypocritical to do it ourselves. And I don't believe that every single case that is found guilty is actually guilty.
I
and
reckon
just-
take away their
Yeah.
laptops and computers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Xboxes
Put them in an
and stuff.
actual jail cell.
That's even worse than the
Yeah.
death penalty.
I agree with what you said, Haley. I think that the maximum punishment should be this, but nobody should know about it. They put them in prison and they say, all right, you're due to be executed on such and such day. And it's in 10 years.
And they never-
But then they never
never-
execute them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole 10 years, they're like having to deal with
I
their
think
own
so
death.
too.
And
Or
then they're
every
like,
couple
no,
of
you don't
weeks.
even get that.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
couple of weeks would be even worse because they'd go, is
But then
this
they get
serious?
used to it.
Yeah, but then you make it even more dramatic every time.
But
Like
the
you wake
main-
them up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's time to go. It's time to go. Really, you're taking them to the shower. They're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
So they make a mess with their head.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe then when they finally if they get released afterwards, they might have like a whole new lease on life because it's like a Buckley's chance or whatever
yes.
it was.
Yes.
And they see that world like as like rainbows and unicorns.
That's
Yeah.
what I
and-
mean. Don't ever re-release them. Like
Yeah.
they shouldn't ever be
Yeah,
released.
yeah,
Well,
that's
see,
true.
I actually think if things were to turn out better, there should be a lot more focus on rehabilitation. But it's difficult, it's expensive, and they haven't got proper testing. Like, they've released people who've been through rehabilitation to then kill more people.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, or
need
rape
to-
more people.
Yeah, exactly. They need to be able
Murder.
to actually test afterwards.
So clearly
whether
the
or not it has
rehabilitation
worked.
isn't really
Yeah,
rehabilitation.
just
Yeah.
because I think the criminal justice system is so homogenized, and they're trying to deal with such large numbers that it's hard to do on a case-by-case basis, which they need to do, but it's hard.
Yeah.
That's it. What do you think? Go to our Facebook page, The Elegant Universe Radio Show, and tell us what you think. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to 94.1 FM. This is The Elegant Universe. Hayley, let's have a horoscope.
Okay, so Leo, this week you will lose your voice and have to listen to other people for once. It turns out everyone else is really boring.
Oh.
Well, poor Leo. But they shouldn't have been talking so much in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I have a news article if anyone is
let's
interested.
go.
Love it.
Okay, so, of course, in this elegant universe, what else do we want to hear about but a whale poonator?
A whale poonator.
Poonator.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
I will explain. Okay, so recently, some divers off the coast of the Caribbean were swimming next to a large sperm whale.
Yep.
And it decided to relieve itself.
Right.
Okay. So it filled the water with clouds of fecal matter, then lay on its side and used its tail to fan it across 30 meters of the water.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
One of the divers says that the crystal blue water of the Caribbean turned into what he terms a chocolate milkshake. Okay. They claim that it's a defense mechanism the whale uses, and apparently they often do it before they descend into the depths. I'm not sure if it's worse relieving yourself down there or what it is.
Yeah.
But to make it worse, some of the divers had chosen not to wear any scuba equipment.
Oh my god!
For fear it might actually disturb the whales. So they were fully
snorkeling.
Yeah.
What's
swimming
the phobia
in
for
a,
that? That's brutal.
Yeah, there must be a new phobia now.
That's definitely scarring for the rest of your life.
And they stayed underwater with it to take photographs because it has never been documented before. So they sacrificed themselves to take photos because who doesn't want to see photos of a whale poonator? Yeah. That's my news. I thought you guys like that. Sound like the type of thing you'd like.
Thanks for sharing. So, Luca, what if we listen to your podcast? What would we be listening to? What are we going to find?
Yeah, what sort of a show?
So it's me, and like I said, my friend Blake, who's a comic as well. And we have a guest on every week.
Yep.
And we kind of talk about the news and stuff. Like we pick 3 news stories or like trending hashtags from the week. Bring them in and discuss those. But we kind of just use it as a backbone to, chat about whatever.
Yeah.
It gets pretty loose, but that's like the basis of it anyway.
Cool.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I might use that Poonato story because, like I said, I have to go afterwards, and I've only written down 2 for the week. So
okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah, do you want the rest of my material while you're at it?
Yeah, man.
I'll just give you my notebook.
We've actually just introduced a segment where we talk about horoscopes, so
that'll
be good,
yeah. I found in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, I found in Queenstown this little magazine that was lying on the street that people have obviously made and handed around, and they had horoscopes like mine in there.
Really?
Like these negative ones.
Oh.
Nowhere near as good, obviously.
Of course.
They were stupid. They were completely irrelevant. Didn't make any sense. Clearly weren't really from the stars. Gosh, guys. But I found someone else doing my stuff. Not as good, so stick with me. I will tell you your future for real.
Wow, crazy.
Okay, so I've got another story about what someone has done to be sent to jail.
Yep.
I don't think they intentionally did it to be sent to jail, but this is what they did.
Okay.
Well, some people would, I hear they get lobster there. So
really?
I heard
wouldn't be real. It'd be tinned lobster.
Like when you're in high school and you're forced to read the newspaper for something. One of the things I read was about the treatment of prisoners and how they live better than people that are on the dole.
Right.
How they're treated is somehow equates
to
being better.
Well, it's better than the elderly.
Yeah, and so
hands down already, and the
nursing
disabled
homes,
most of the time.
Yeah.
And so they had the menus of the prisons in Victoria, and one of them apparently served lobster.
Wow,
really?
Yeah. So maybe they did do this on purpose to get some decent food.
But see, this is what we were just talking off air about the death penalty. And did you know that I didn't know this, but Australia only abolished the death penalty for federal offences in 1973.
Really?
Does that not seem so recent to you?
Did you know this is a bit grim? That is very recent. Yes. But there was a guy in Colombia who killed 200 people.
Yep.
Like street kids and stuff who had no family, so when they went missing, nobody really noticed. And he eventually got caught. And in Colombia there's no death penalty, and also the maximum prison sentence is 30 years.
Wow.
So he's getting released in like 5 years' time.
And you can't like get multiple
200
sentences.
You can't.
That's
You can't
crazy.
get multiple sentences.
But
Wow.
think about it. Out of those 200 people, he would have murdered somebody who would have been related to those 200 people, because, like, seriously, there couldn't be that many people there. And, the separation...
Why does that matter?
Well, the separation of 6 degrees, right? Is
Okay.
that somebody would have been related to one of the 200, and probably the biggest, baddest guy in the prison too. And when the guy gets in, do you really think he's getting out?
Well,
Yeah.
no, because of his crimes, he's been in solitary confinement, so he hasn't been
that's
killed.
probably why.
So he hasn't been killed in prison or anything.
But then the
so he's
prison
going to get
guards,
out.
or the prison guards could be in on it, and
Wow.
he's got to eat.
Well,
So the lesson
maybe.
here is that if you're going to kill people, kill enough so that you get put in solitary confinement and don't have to deal with the rest of the people there.
Is that the
Become
lesson?
the Joker.
Yeah. In Colombia.
In Colombia.
In Colombia.
Become
Yeah.
the Joker, pretty much. That's the moral to the story.
But
Did you have
do you
crimes?
agree or disagree with the death penalty? Like, I think if they've done such a horrendous crime, let them rot in jail. Like, why do they get to escape life and any misery they've got in their head from being sent to jail by being given the death
Well,
penalty?
see,
It doesn't make sense.
I
to me.
also disagree with the death penalty, but for a different reason. I just don't think anybody has the right to take away a life. And if we're punishing them for exactly that, it's just completely hypocritical to do it ourselves. And I don't believe that every single case that is found guilty is actually guilty.
I
and
reckon
just-
take away their
Yeah.
laptops and computers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Xboxes
Put them in an
and stuff.
actual jail cell.
That's even worse than the death penalty.
I agree with what you said, Haley. I think that the maximum punishment should be this, but nobody should know about it. They put them in prison and they say, all right, you're due to be executed on such and such day. And it's in 10 years.
And they never...
But then they never execute them.
Yeah.
So the whole 10 years, they're having to deal with
I
their
think
own
so
death.
too.
And
Or
then they're
every
like,
couple
no,
of
you
weeks.
don't even get that.
Yeah, every couple of weeks would be even worse, because they'd go, is
But then
this
they get
serious?
used to it.
Yeah, but then you make it even more dramatic every time.
But
like
the
you wake
main-
them up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's time to go. It's time to go. Really, you're taking them to the shower? They're like,
Yeah.
So they make a mess with their head.
yeah, I know.
So maybe then when they finally if they get released afterwards, they might have like a whole new lease on life. 'Cause it's like a Buckley's chance or whatever
yes.
it was.
Yeah.
And they see that world like as like rainbows and unicorns.
That's
Yeah.
what I
and-
mean. Don't ever re-release them. Like,
Yeah.
they shouldn't ever be
Yeah,
released.
yeah,
Well,
that's
see,
true.
I actually think if things were to turn out better, there should be a lot more focus on rehabilitation. But it's difficult, it's expensive, and they haven't got proper testing. Like, they've released people who've been through rehabilitation to then kill more people.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, or
need
rape
to-
more people.
Yeah, exactly. They need to be able
Murder.
to actually test afterwards.
So clearly
whether
the
or not it has
rehabilitation
worked.
isn't really rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Because I think the criminal justice system is so homogenized, and they're trying to deal with such large numbers that it's hard to do on a case-by-case basis,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they need
Exactly.
to do, but
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. What do you think? Go to our Facebook page, the Elegant Universe Radio Show, and tell us what you think. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to the Elegant Universe, and it has been quite a show, and you've survived all the way through to the end. Because it's the end, because we're nearly there, people want to know what's happening to them this week.
Exactly.
So we're turning to our expert on the stars once again, Hayley.
Okay, so we've got a few to get through right now, so listen closely. Virgo. This week, you will lend your mum your phone without clearing your previous Google searches.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, they weren't all as tame as how to make blueberry jam.
A quiet evening going through your Google history.
Yeah, don't go through Shane's. Okay, so Libra. This week, you will accidentally recycle your lotto ticket.
Yep.
Division 1 will go to jackpot, and you are sure they were your numbers.
Oh.
Scorpio. Now, I believe Luka is a Scorpio, so this is going to happen to him, whether he likes it or not. Scorpio, this week, Krispy Kreme will run out of vanilla glaze, and you'll be forced to buy the chocolate one instead.
Ooh.
Your moral compromise makes you feel guilty for the rest of the week. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this week, you will spill beetroot on your shirt and be charged with murder. It turns out all axe murderers use the excuse, it's just beetroot.
Oh.
Everyone uses that.
That's
So
actually quite clever.
Didn't know that.
That's
yeah,
really
no, it doesn't
clever.
work anymore. They've all used it.
Oh,
No one believes you.
okay. Right.
And finally, Capricorn.
Yep.
This week, you will search in the bush for a missing friend.
Ah,
Your compass will break and you will fall down a cliff. Also, you can see some vultures in the distance.
Oh, no.
Good. It's a good week
Susie.
for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Peladophobia.
the what are the hoodbia?
The peladophobia.
The peladophobia.
Still don't know. Yeah.
Fear of people with unusually shaped pelvises.
Oh, no.
No.
Extreme panic attacks when faced with a bald head.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I said, isn't it?
Some of them are very creepy. No, like the people as compared to their bald heads. But that too, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it how bald dudes, they get that tiny little bit of hair that they've got and they brush it
Comb it
all the
over.
way across their head.
Yeah.
Like those couple of strands are going to cover your entire
There's that
head.
one angle that it works from.
Yeah. And then-
every other way you look at them, you go,
they're
what
bald.
are you doing?
You know, I get creeped out by that. I can understand this now. If you look at a bald person from behind and the shape of their head is kind of like lumpy before it goes down, and it's like, I don't want to, like, it's weird to look at.
Phrenology.
But really, how do you look in the mirror and go, I look good when you've just got like 2 strands of hair combed over
Oh,
to
no,
the other
you
side?
wouldn't.
Delusion. Self-delusion.
Yeah, you wouldn't go, I look good. You'd go, I look not bald. I look better than I did a few minutes ago.
This is convincing.
But how are they when they wake up and they've got that one long strand of hair just hanging down by their side?
Well, everyone gets bed hair. I mean, sometimes you have to wake up and you have to style it. I know you don't, but...
Talking about bed hair. Okay, so I work at a cafe.
Yeah, you do that, Susie. You talk about bed hair.
But you know how I work at a cafe, and this guy has been coming in, and I think I'm not good at picking up on signals, but I think he flirts with me.
Okay.
But the other day he came in and he goes, "How was your holiday about being away for the long weekend?" I went, "Oh yeah, good. Didn't we were out, up and about a lot. Didn't get much sleep." And he goes, "Yeah, I can see you've still got bed hair."
Oh no!
What is that?
That's horrible.
You know what? You're not flirting with me anymore. I just told you. Okay, so Iraqi buttiphobia.
Fear of Iraqis with big butts.
Close. Fear of having one's palate covered by peanut butter.
Wow.
Which is a real thing. Have you seen a dog? You give peanut butter to a dog?
No.
It's
It's pretty thick.
They
Yeah.
can't-
It's a problem.
Very
Maybe
thick.
not a fear, but it's a problem sometimes.
Okay, you've been listening to The Elegant Universe. You've made it all the way through to the end of the episode. We'd like to thank our very special guest, Frankie Hamster, for coming on and sharing his conspiracy theories.
Oh, look, it was great to be here. But, Hayley, I just got a question. What was it you were talking about, cranial fat rolls?
Do they have a name?
Yeah, they're
That's
called
amazing.
cranial fat rolls.
They're
If
a
you're
little bit
fat
creepy.
man, yeah, if you're a fat man and you shaved your head, whatever's around your guts appears on the back of your
Well,
skull.
that's a good thing I'm not a fat man who's shaving my head.
Hence the expression, you've got a fat head. And also our very special guest, Luka Muller, for being on the show. Thanks, mate.
guys. I want to... This is the real conspiracy theory. Haley is a fat man with rolls on the back of her head. Just a very convincing radio
I knew
voice.
it. I've been waiting to say that forever
Oh,
to
gosh,
reveal
thanks,
that.
everyone.
But we'd like to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll definitely be having you back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome. It's fun.
It was good value for money. Here's your $5.
Thanks,
Excellent.
guys.
And we'll be linking up all of your stuff to our Facebook page,
Yep.
the podcast, your gigs for the next few weeks, and, of course, check out the photograph. So, on behalf of myself, the crew, and our guests, I'll ask you to do 2 things, listener. 1, be kind to small animals, and dream great dreams.
Catch.
That wraps up another life-changing edition of The Elegant Universe.
Thanks for being part of the action. We love you.
Wherever you go in this great, big, wide, wonderful world of ours, don't forget to tune in next time.
Catch.